Well, it looks like we got even more Sonic X Shadow Generations gameplay footage after the VGC one, and yeah, this is insane. I was gonna stream it on Sunday, but I was just so exhausted, like I literally couldn't function anymore. Okay, so all the footage that we're gonna be checking out today comes over to us on twitter.com from Fidel GAMESCAGE, the guy, GAMESCAGE_. Go check out his Twitter handle. He is the hype guy, the biggest voice in the Sonic community. I mean, do I really have to explain who Fidel is? Go check him out, man. Go check him out. All his links are going to be in the description, but he's playing the Shadow Generations or Sonic X Shadow Generations demo over at Summer Game Fest. And what I find really interesting about this is Shadow Generations does have its own logo. So once again, this proves that Sonic Generations and Shadow Generations have combined together for this re-release, Sonic X Shadow Generations, which is why they called it that. It's like a bundle of two different games. What I love the most about this title screen is the fact that, like, you know, it kept that Generations theming to it, which is really cool. That new render of Shadow is sick, and I really love the fact that the text even looks like it came straight out of Generations, and this also proves that Space Colony Arc Act 1 was Radical Highway and the Space Colony Arc level combined, which is insane. That was all one level. And we've got the Bio Lizard as a separate boss fight. I think we're in good hands, boys. He literally says, "I've seen the Promised Land." I got a lot of thoughts. Right off the bat, though, they cooked. Space Colony Arc Act 1 is the fucking coolest shit and is exactly the future of what a Sonic level should be like. Cinematic, fast, multi-paths. But yeah, this is Space Colony Arc Act 1, which is really interesting because that confirms that we do have 2 acts per zone, just like in Sonic Generations, but in Sonic Generations, Act 1 was classic, Act 2 is modern, so I don't know how Act 1 and Act 2 are going to be different in Shadow Generations. We're just going to have to wait and see. Okay, so we got rank animations, and already massive step up from Cyberspace, no flat screen, massive step up from Forces. This is about on par with Gens, I would say, maybe even better. Like, honestly, this is kind of crazy. These camera angles are making this really cool. Look at that, bro. And again, it looks a lot like Generations in terms of the HUD and UI elements and stuff, which is so cool. It's got, like, this game has such a weird level of polish to it that it's kind of insane, you know? It's so hard to find anything bad to critique about this game. Okay, so we got the full playthrough of Space Colony Arc Act 1. And what I find really interesting about this is you start off looking at the arc, which looks super sick, by the way. I don't know how that's going to load on the Switch. If that's not like a PNG image, the Switch is absolutely cooked. Oh, and you see GAMESCAGE trying to take a skip there and fail entirely. But what I did see that I find really cool was the boost is a lot like Gens in a way, the air boost. And the pause menu here looks so similar aesthetically to Generations that it's just so cool. It's so cool. It really does make the whole game feel much more cohesive and less like separate. It really does feel like an extension to Sonic Generations. And then you've got the right there, the Final Chase looking rails. Even though this is really going to be like its own level set on the arc. But it's probably going to take a lot of inspiration from previous levels set on the arc, like Final Chase, maybe even Final Rush, and the arc from Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh yeah, let me go back. So one thing I really want to mention here is when you go over to the hint bubble, it says press R2 to boost. And by the way, this is on a PlayStation controller, so you're going to see the PlayStation button inputs, but X to jump. And then it says X and then square to homing attack. So it seems to be following the Frontiers control scheme with the triggers to boost and then square to homing attack and stuff. And I think that's a good thing, in my opinion. What I like about it is, I don't know, it just, you can like press the trigger and you can like homing attack at the same time. It makes it much easier than like pressing X and then square to boost. You don't have to like let go of the jump button while you're boosting. I mean, I guess you could just put, you know, your thumb on both, but I think it's like, it's more natural feeling. It's more natural feeling. I'm skipping a lot of this because there's just so much to talk about. There's way too much to talk about here. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, so GAMESCAGE is taking the alternate routes to prove to you guys especially you on Twitter, that Force's level design and this game's level design are like completely different things. They are completely different things. I don't care what anyone says, especially people posting the end of this level where like you're in Radical Highway and it's just like, oh, it's a straight line, even though that's not true. You've got multiple paths there as well. Oh, it's a straight line. It's just like Luminous Forest from Sonic Forces. Like, here's the thing, bro. If you're going to point out every hallway in every single Sonic game, then every game is like Sonic Forces, bro. Force's level design, like people forget that the issue with Force's level design wasn't just the linearity. It was the fact that the levels were super short. It was the fact that there was excessive, like, and I mean an abundance of automation. If you play Luminous Forest and you go through the half-pipe section as Modern Sonic, bro, they put like 20 boosters in front of you when you're already boosting at the speed of light, and you've got so many enemies to take out that your boost gauge is just going up to the max all the time, which makes no sense. It's like, why do we need the boosters? Oh, because we're afraid the player is gonna like fall off the half-pipe, you know? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And that's not to say that Forces is like a super terrible game or anything. I mean, I don't think it's like the best boost game. I'm going to talk about this in a separate video. Right now I'm just rambling. I'm usually one to be like super skeptical when it comes to like modern Sonic's level design and just difficulty in general. As a guides channel, I prefer much more challenging gameplay. And while I think this doesn't really look all that difficult, I can still have fun with it, you know? I can see a lot of speedrunning potential, and that's where difficulty really kicks in for people like me. It's not like we're not going to have like a hard mode or anything. But anyways, I'm skipping so much. Okay, so you can homing attack rails just like in Dream Team. What's interesting is the homing reticles shows up specifically at the start. So it's not going to be like Dream Team where you can literally like homing attack on any part of the rail. That shit was overpowered. It was kind of crazy. Led to some crazy skips. But it's going to be nothing like that, which makes sense because that was, it did feel a little bit buggy, low-key. It did feel a little bit buggy. But yeah, what I love about this, what I love about using Chaos Control here, by the way, that's back. I wish Chaos Blast would have came back too. Who knows, maybe it's still in the game, but I don't think so. But what I really love about it is like, it turns oncoming obstacles into new platforms. It completely changes the way you play boost games now, because it's like, you can either die, or you can use that platform to your advantage and take new skips, you know? That's so sick. Oh, and I really love the fact that item boxes are back, you know, from the adventure games. So peak, bro. So peak. Alright, so for the most part, like, Fidel, use Chaos Control. There we go. For the most part, this seems really cool. Like, I am so excited to play this game. I was talking about this with the guys. We were just like, you know, it's so hard to find anything to critique this game for because look at it, like they cooked. They straight up just cooked. It's not even like pure style. Like it's got so much substance. Oh yeah, so this is actually a QuickTime event, which I find really interesting. This right here. They made that a whole QuickTime event. I thought that was just going to be a cutscene. That roll, by the way, this roll, can I just say, presentation-wise, this game kicks so much ass, but like this roll right here, look at this, look at this. I know Lost World Sonic does that too, but come on, man, like, are we really going to like compare that to this? Look at this. It's like something you'd see out of a Spider-Man game. And then you've got the grid of lasers that you've got to avoid. Just like in the other boost games. What I find really interesting too is like, it is really, really responsive. Like you don't like float around, you know what I mean? He just like goes up, down, up, down. It would be like as if you're just like walking on the ground normally. Look at all these lasers, bro. Tell me when Forces planted all these lasers and obstacles your way in a boost level. I'll wait. Like, look at this. They make you, like, time laser grid movement and stuff. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But, like, come on. This is nothing like Forces. This is just nothing like Forces. And look at this. What I love so much here, What I love so much about this is, look at how wide open this entire section is. Like, this is something you'd see in an adventure game, bro. This is something you would see in, like, SA2. Look at that. You can go this way, that way, there. Like, it's so much less restrictive than your typical boost game. I'm so impressed. I'm so, like, beyond impressed, bro. It took so much inspiration from Dream Team. It really did. Like that playground feel, you know, where you've got those like big, large, wide open areas. I love it so much, man. And the automation isn't even excessive. It's only at like parts where like you really need it. A lot of people are saying this game kind of sucks because it doesn't have a drift. And here's my counterpoint. If you can turn really well, do we really need a drift? You know, that's sort of how I felt about Frontiers. I was like, I can turn so well. Like, I can go in full-on circles and stuff. Why would I even need a drift? It makes no sense. But yeah, so, right there. I can't believe I missed this. I'm skipping over so much because I'm just like, there is so much to break down, but if you go right back here, right? So the level ends. You think the level ends. The timer still going. And boom. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You get like a whole really cool looking Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness type beat. And then boom. Flawlessly. That was all like in game. Flawlessly, you transition to Radical Highway. And look at the aesthetics, man. Oh my god, it's so cool seeing this. Like, all the buildings are just collapsing all around you. Like, okay, look here. This is the only time where I would say maybe you would need something like a drift, because they sort of just put like dash pads there, you know? But honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, it really isn't. So I'm going to talk about this in an upcoming video that I have titled How I Think Sonic X Shadow Generations Could Redefine What It Means to Be a Boost Game. And I know that seems like a hot take, but hear me out, right? A lot of the best Sonic games, a lot of the best Boost Sonic games that people constantly praise all the time, Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed, are really good, but for totally different reasons. They've got more of that quick, high-speed, reaction-based gameplay where you've got to like always constantly be dodging, jumping, moving out of the way, doing tricks, quick time events, all that stuff. That's where all the challenge comes from. There's like always something constantly being thrown your way, and I respect those games a ton because, you know, it's got a lot of challenge to them, and as someone who prefers challenge in their Sonic games, I love that, right? But what I will say is Sonic X Shadow Generations is taking what Cyberspace did, but like completely expanding upon that. Like, it's so different that I don't even think it's even comparable to Generations and Unleashed at that point, because what it's doing is it's giving us like a hybrid model of like the adventure and the boost. They're really trying, like you can really see it here. They're trying to find a way to merge these two gameplay styles together and make it feel more exploration based, as opposed to, you know, constantly feeling like you're on a roller coaster with Gens and Unleashed. And that way you can allow for room for backtracking and also that combination of high-speed gameplay at the same time. It just makes the most sense. It's catering to both the adventure fans and the boost fans. Well, look at how sick this is, bro. He gets teleported back. So at the end of Radical Highway, he gets teleported back to Space Colony Arc. Like, none of that just happened. Like, you could argue that Forces tried to do this a similar thing with Null Space, but come on, bro. You start off on a straight line in a purple void with nothing but rings to collect, and all you can really do is quick step, and then double boost. You're out of there, and you're back into mid. You know, but this is insane. This is insane. Like, this is just so insane. Okay, so here's a look at the Biolizard fight. And you can hold to skip the cutscene, which is obviously well needed. You tortured soul, I will end your suffering. It's no use, you can't keep pace with me. Oh, interesting. Did you see the yeah, there are like invisible barriers here, so you can't just like break out. What I will say, it does kind of suck that they removed the pathways that like let you drown. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. The fight already has a lot of challenge on its own. So it starts off, right? You got the Biolizard's health gauge there. It starts off pretty much just like it did in Sonic Adventure 2, right? Your energy is still unstable. Life support ray on its back. Yeah, so it starts out like it did in SA2. And then, out of nowhere, the Biolizard is like, yeah, let me just grow wings real quick. And Shadow's like, you think those will stop me? Yeah, so I think what the goal is here is you've got to take out the wings and then get to the back again. Take that out and boom, rinse and repeat. Okay, so right there. For this section specifically, you've got to press triangle to use Chaos Spear to dodge all the incoming projectiles. So that means you could probably do a Chaos Spear while you're jumping too, which is awesome. Because it's mapped to triangle. All of a sudden, the Biolizard just pulls out a Kamehameha. And then Chaos Control. And that's it. We're at the end. Look at how sick this looks, man. Look at this. Look at this. And it doesn't stop there. It's like... this is so Unleashed-like in a way. Love it. And he stuck the landing. Oh my god, bro. Look at that animation. That was an A rank? I thought he played really well. Okay, so now that's pretty much it for the Shadow Generations portion. Let's talk about the Sonic Generations portion here. So you can see not much has really changed. Immediately where you're going to notice, though, is we don't have lives, as to be expected. I mean, come on. It's a modern Sonic game. And yeah, it's pretty much just gens unchanged. But here's the thing. You now boost with R2. So once again, the Frontiers and Shadow Generations type gameplay control scheme carries over here. Which, you know, in my opinion, it's fine because apparently there's going to be a legacy controls option. So if you don't like it, you can always just change it back in the settings. Then we got Classic Sonic, and I'm still not sure if his model has changed, but dude, there it is. Right there, you can see that Classic Sonic has the drop dash from Mania and Forces and Superstars. So yeah, it's to be expected, but it's really cool. But the craziest part is Modern Sonic also has the drop dash, just like in Frontiers. So we now essentially have a mini spin dash in modern levels. And that's going to be so much fun to go down slopes with. But yeah, guys, that was all the new footage that was shown off after the VGC gameplay. And I gotta say, man, this game is looking really good. It is looking really good. And if they execute this correctly, bro, especially like level design like this, where we've got like giant central big open playground type areas, bro, I think we may genuinely be ready for Sonic Adventure 3 now. I think Sonic Team may genuinely be at the point where they can work on that. Like, I would feel confident that they wouldn't screw it up. That's kind of insane. And this gives me a lot of hope for a Sonic Adventure 2, hopefully Sonic Heroes remaster one day, you know. I know that we're probably going to get Unleashed next, based on what Takashi Iizuka said in a recent interview. And I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future of this franchise has to hold. I think it's a really, really good time to be a Sonic fan right now. Thank you for watching this video. Massive shout out to all the channel members for the insanely generous support. Shout out to Sonic Heroes 54, Azura, Shadow Tart, and Rewind Plays. If you'd like to become a channel member, be sure to hit that join button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.